I'm Chris Bellinger, and I want to thank you today for joining the webinar. We hope this webinar will be a journey today, and the journey will last about 30 minutes. We hope to share with you a few eureka moments about how administration has transformed over the last decade. And specifically, this webinar will focus on payroll and HR systems, but we'll make a quick brief mention about the other administration services as well. One of the big things that's transformed, especially over the last 5 years, was payroll coupled with HR platforms. Before, really only 1,000 life groups had access to this technology because the cost was just too high for groups that were smaller, and it just didn't make any sense on a workflow basis. But today, businesses bringing their member clients this technology and service at roughly the same cost that you're paying now for your current payroll systems. And so at the end of this webinar, we'll open this up, the phone lines, for questions. However, there is a chat screen. If you want to go ahead and chat, Shelly will be able to interrupt us, and we'll be happy to take questions at that time. And just a reminder, you can always call and email Bizisher after the demo for any additional questions that you might have. So just really quickly, I'm Chris Bellinger, and I've been working in business administration for about a decade. I specifically work directly with clients and then brokers to bring the best technology and administration that comes, to the market. And my group size that I usually work with is between groups with 5 to about 500 employees. And what I try to do is just make jobs easier, workflow easier for my clients and for the brokers that assist them. Don?
Hi, thanks, Chris. Hi, everybody. Good morning. My name is Don Schwartz. I've been in the HR and payroll industry for about 15 years in various forms, everything from implementation to service and sales and account management. Some of my areas of specialty are in software selection, general ledger, and system integration.
Thanks, Don. The company that we work for is BBP PeopleSense. We are headquartered in Itasca and Crystal Lake, Illinois, with processing centers in Nevada, Illinois, and Florida. We have been in operation for over 35 years now, and we handle payroll, pre-tax, ERISA, and HIPAA compliance. We are a proud Bizisher Alliance partner. And the one thing we like to always mention is, how great the Bizisher service is for any questions that you might have that come up. And we often say before doing a Google search on some ERISA question or an FSA or a COBRA question, you can always email or give Bizisher a call with that question, and we encourage you to do so. And a lot of the times when you're asking a pre-tax or payroll or those form of questions, you'll often hear back from Don or myself regarding those questions. So just remember, always email, give Bizisher a call for those questions that you might have that arise. Basically, what we just want to do before we dive into the payroll and HR is just remind you that Bizisher also has you covered for all these other types of administration services. The FSA programs, flexible spending accounts, medical, and daycare are all debit card programs, also come with direct deposit or check or provider payments, has a robust employee self-service platform where employees get email notifications of their balances, of claims filed, pretty much of everything, all the way down to iPhone and Android applications. Also has health savings account administration, COBRA and state continuation. Again, these are all web-based services with the most modern technology. Our services also include credit card payments. As I often mention, I'm often surprised how many COBRA administrators won't take a credit card payment over the phone or online. So these are very robust systems that can do it all. We have FMLA if you're under FMLA, leave policy services. We do payroll administration, both as an administrator, which we're going to talk about today, and we also do licensing. So we license many payroll applications to really drive down your payroll costs. So if you're ever searching out there for payroll licensing of software, give Bizisher a call. We have you covered. A lot of our services is just payroll consulting. You might use ABC payroll or XYZ payroll, but you need some help in your payroll department. We assist with that as well, including our human resource information systems, or the buzzword that we use is the human capital systems. Then, of course, we also do wellness, ERISA wrap documents, 5,500 filings, and more. So again, if you ever have this administration in question, feel free to reach out to BizAssure, and we'll get in touch with you. And then finally, the big buzz is healthcare reform. I mean, it's coming strong. There's exchange notices coming up. There was already a million things, W-2 reporting. BizAssure has you covered. We can answer the questions. We have a very robust healthcare reform system. Don's going to explain a lot how it's integrated with our payroll or time and attendance systems. But we also have a very robust newsletter service available to clients that update with lawyers constantly updating them and putting dates of the updates, because as you know, there's the healthcare reform law, and every single day something's changing on it. So we understand at BizAssure it's really hard to keep up on that. And again, we just want to remind you that we have you covered. Getting into, before Don talks about the payroll, what we want to say is what our payroll brings to you is employer-specific plans. And what happened over the years was my father started Better Business Planning, and the administration services didn't live up to the services he brought on the insurance side of the business. So he founded an insurance company. He's also founded many other companies, including insurance quoting services online. A lot of you might know of one called Insure.com, and back in the day, my father started that. And I just bring that up to show how we constantly evolve at this family business when the service isn't being passed on to the customers. Because the one thing, especially in administration services like FSA, COBRA, payroll, it's a volume business. So we constantly hear, I get a different payroll rep every single time. I call, I get somebody new. It's Chris, it's Don, it's Jane, it's Ellis. So we just like to know that most of our employees at our company, you can see most of them online. They've been with us for 10, 15 years. Things don't change. We bring you that excellent customer service. Coupled with that, we bring you what we call our employer-specific model. And what we mean by that is when you work with ADP, Paychex, Ceridian, and Hewitt, Workday, whomever it is, when you're working with companies of that size, we don't blame them. They do good service. They have good platforms, but they have to take you, a square company, and put you into a round hole. Because it's the old adage that I always bring up from my business school. One of the things that we had to do was go test out McDonald's. And one of the things to test them out was you would go through the drive-thru and ask for a Big Mac without cheese, and to see how long it would take McDonald's to produce that. They don't have the motto, make it your way or have it your way. You have to take what's on the menu or else their service slows down. Well, it's the same with all of these national payroll chains. They have a model that they can plug you into. So what Don and I like to preach is we have an employer-specific model, and we call that People Sense. And what we can do is we can take the best of your current payroll of what you really like. Then we ask you, what would make your life easier? And usually we can combine the two for roughly the same cost you're paying and give you that employer-specific model that you want to run your payroll or HR or FSA or COBRA. So as we bring up for customer service, you get a dedicated rep and you get a ticket system, whatever that you would like. You get the employer-specific designs, the round peg in the round hole. We don't try to formulate us into a cookie-cutter program. You get very modern technology that Don's going to talk about, including all the healthcare reform. I'm getting calls pretty much once a week about somebody saying their payroll company due to W-2 or due to the reporting for the 9.5% for the healthcare reform, or basically any healthcare reform, they're tacking on a fee. We don't do that here. We've developed everything that you need. And one of the big things that's come up is an HRA tax. There's a PCORA fee that if you have a health reimbursement arrangement program that you have to pay $1 tax by July 31st. So there's all these things that come up where we keep our client informed with, of course, emails and then personal phone calls. So we always take it that extra step. Within our system, we have a very robust time and attendance. We've gone out to many clients still on paper time and attendance, or they have a clock and they're keying in the hours based on printing a report. And again, that's that whole adage where when you go with a payroll company, they have to put you in where they feel comfortable and can, make quick money. And here again, we don't do that. We'll set you up with a proper time and attendance system that works and automate those features. And again, that's the whole thing that I started out with. Companies of only 1,000 plus used to get this, and now we've been able to bring it all down. Don's going to talk a lot about human capital management, benefit enrollment systems within your payroll, performance appraisals, things like that. And again, at the end of the day, before I switch it over here to Don, is we're consultants in nature. So our drive at BizAssure is never to go, oh, we'd rather have you use us. We'd be flattered if you would, and we hope we introduce a lot of great things here today. But we're consultants. We're going to help you out at BizAssure no matter who you're using. We can give you the best advice, the best practices, and at the end of the day, maybe we can help you drive down the cost of who you're currently using. So always keep that in mind. At BizAssure, we're always here to help you. We don't take our interests first. It's always the client's interest. I'm going to turn it over to Don, and he's going to go through a few slides here to really dive into our PeopleSense product. Don?
All right. So as we mentioned, our PeopleSense solution is a single sign-on, web-based solution containing payroll, human resources, time and attendance are the core ones, in addition to all the other ancillary modules. Also, as Chris mentioned, we can handle the administration of COBRA, leave management, FSA, cafeteria plans, all with one administrator, which right off the bat creates a ton of efficiencies, as you can imagine, as opposed to dealing with many different vendors for all those solutions. We can provide all of them to you. So some of the things in addition to HR and payroll, organizational tracking, online benefit enrollment, performance appraisal are just a few of the things that we're going to talk about today. Our system, as I mentioned, single sign-on. It's truly one system that's evolved over 20 years. It's not a bunch of different companies melded together to create one solution here. This is one piece of software. First, I'm going to talk about payroll a little bit. So we can configure your payroll system to be tailored to your company's specific needs. We have companies of all sizes. We have a 10-person insurance company on this system, as well as our largest company of about 4,000 employees that has 65 retail locations in 7 different states. So the system is scalable, obviously, and for the most part, a lot of our customers fall, I would say, below 500 employees. But as I said, we have handled customers as large as several thousand. The system has 3 methods of reporting. It first comes with over 200 canned reports that can be date ranged and exported to different formats. There's also an ad hoc query report writing tool, more of like a data extrapolator. And then we also have an analytic report writing tool that allows you to create very dynamic reports to show you things like, not just how much turnover you had, but how much is that turnover costing you. And it can, you can insert graphs and charts and very dynamic reporting. And then when you're processing payroll, there is a wizard that walks you through the payroll process. It's a guided wizard, which also has an audit, an internal audit that looks at about 19 different factors when payroll is processed and alerts you if there's errors in your current payroll process, in that current pay cycle. And it addresses those issues so that you can go correct them. The wizard, like I said, it makes it very easy even for whether you're a skilled payroll processor or new. It really helps you walk through the process so as to not forget certain steps during the payroll cycle. We offer debit cards. A lot of customers are getting away from paper checks more and more every day. If not just for the hassle of the paper checks, so that they're not incurring courier fees that are delivering a packet with checks in there. We have a self-service portal, and that combined with the debit cards, you can virtually go paperless. The system has all types of notifications, reminders to alert you of simple things like birthdays and anniversaries, or things like performance reviews are due. There's a ton of notifications the system has that can be set up. So coupled with our system is also time and attendance, which Chris has mentioned. It's fully integrated with a world-class offering of infotronics called Attendance on Demand. It has full scheduling and point system capabilities. It's a very robust system. Again, it's scalable as well. Some of our smaller customers use this time and attendance solution as well as our larger ones. It can also set up reminders, generate warnings, and even produce letters when employees forget to punch out, or they're late, or they missed a shift. And for smaller groups, the system comes equipped. If they don't need a full time and attendance system, our system does have a employee timesheet where, for example, one of our customers downtown Chicago only has about 20 employees, and they just need their employees to log in and out for the day. They're not punching in and out for lunches. They just need a very simple timesheet. So we can handle that as well. And also touch upon the Attendance on Demand time and attendance solution. They were very quick to act to all the healthcare reform, implementing the correct reporting. They even have an award-winning white paper. So they were one of the very first time and attendance companies to act to the healthcare reform and incorporate that into their system. Another feature, organizational tracking, is very helpful for some of our larger companies. So in addition to having the org chart with titles, you can also add pictures along to it. It's all set up based on workflows and rank and file to the managers and HR all the way up to the president. So it helps people know who to report to and who to submit requests like time off or request changes to the profile that affect payroll. It comes with a built-in calendar as well, not only for the managers to view, but also employees through self-service. So when they are submitting requests, for example, for time off, they can see others that have requested time off during a certain time period, or if there's company initiatives going on, helps them make a better decision on if they should request time off or not. And then benefit enrollment. It's another feature that is almost comes up at every one of my customer tables is benefit enrollment. So we have an online benefit enrollment. It's not just for open enrollment, but also for mid-year election changes or qualifying life events. Again, it has another wizard in there that is very easy for employees to use. It's just a click through, and they make their elections through the wizard. After all the changes are made to their elections, it ties right into payroll and makes adjustments to their deductions for their contributions. So with, as much as healthcare is changing and plans changing, more and more options being offered, this online system is very simple and very dynamic. It's easy for your employees to view all the plans available, and then it can also have links to bring them out to the carrier's websites, or also links to view all the information about the particular employer plans. So coupled with all the new requirements for groups over 50, where the employees' contributions need to be with 9.5% of their income, it will help the employers who might need to set up many different contribution formulas. It can we can take that one step further, and once all the elections are made, we can link this directly to the carrier. So we have direct carrier feeds for some of our larger customers. And for our smaller companies, because a lot of the healthcare carriers will only take direct feeds from larger companies, our smaller customers can be sent up to, all the elections can be sent directly to HR or to your broker or to us to assist in making the changes to your benefit plans. So the same notifications can be used for new hires and terminations, which is so key because I can't tell you how many times our customers have had, an employee term and yet they're still getting charged by the carrier because benefits weren't shut off. So it helps in that regard too. In addition to online benefit enrollment and everything, we can also produce and submit pretty much any retirement file or profit sharing plan, pay-as-you-go workers' comp, those type of files that need to be sent to carriers. We can work, like I said, with pretty much any carrier. We can submit the file on your behalf. The advantage is we'll work with your current provider for these services. We don't push you to come, even though we offer these administrative services. We don't push you to have our services in order for us to prepare and send these files for you on your behalf. So I'm not sure if Chris mentioned, but our system also has a full recruitment system. Again, up until a few years ago, things like performance appraisals, recruitment, they were all standalone systems that employers had to purchase and deal with many different vendors. So our system has this resident in the system. Pre-hire to retire, the recruitment system, if you have, if you do have quite a few requisitions throughout the year, we can define the workflows. So when candidates apply online through your portal or a link to a job page like Career Builder or Monster that comes right to your website, we can collect all of the information about your candidates, have them upload the resume, take some questionnaires for filtering. System will provide all the government and internal forms. After the candidates go ahead and post all their information, perhaps even complete some tests online, you can do your phone interviews or invite them in for in-person interviews. And should they get a job or not get a job, the system can send out notifications on your behalf. If you do decide to hire that employee, you can onboard them right through the recruitment portal. Since most of their information is going to be collected electronically anyway, it's very simple. Again, there's another wizard for onboarding an employee. A lot of customers felt that it's a neat tool, but they might not need it. Well, we have had some of our smaller customers, we kind of gave them a trial run on the recruitment system, and even though they had maybe less than 20 employees, they still found it was very useful. It becomes one central repository for all of your HR data, and you can build an applicant pool. So even if you're not doing a lot of hiring, when you do, it's nice to know that you have all those resumes and candidates in one central system where you can filter through your candidates based on criteria that they filled out. And that's relevant to the job, the opening position. So I mentioned self-service. We have a very robust self-service portal. Again, this self-service tool can also act as your company intranet if you don't already have one. So here you can do things like post company announcements. For example, if you're having health screenings, or if you have a bowling league, or even blood drives, or even a simple happy birthday to your employees. There's a calendar for not just supervisors and managers, but for all of your employees with information, and there's also an internal messaging system. It looks very much like Outlook. It has the look and feel of Outlook. So employees can contact their supervisor or HR or payroll with questions to assist with changes that might impact payroll. System also includes asset tracking. So if you issue laptops, cell phones, company cars, any type of company issued equipment to your employees, you can track that in the asset tracking system. And that way in the future, Should an employee term, whether it's voluntary or involuntary, not only does the employee know, but also the employer knows what assets need to be returned to the company. Also, we have like learning management. We can track, so for example, if your company has new hire orientation, safety training, sexual harassment training, continuing ed, not only can BusinessSure help with that testing, but our system can track all of the requirements for learning management and track when the employees showed up, if they passed their tests, and even store documents like certifications and training documents right in the system. Again, it's all tracked, all of this in one system, single sign-on for managers, supervisors to review. Our service, along with most of our other administration services, include our BBP Employee Assistance Program to give your employees legal, financial, or well-being assistance. You know, oftentimes one of the main factors weighing on employees' minds when they do come into work is typically legal or financial in nature. So when designing our overall solution to assist with payroll and HR, we also kept your most valuable assets, your employees, in mind. A lot of my sit-downs with customers these days involve a couple topics, primarily performance appraisals and not only online benefit enrollment, but benefit statements. So since every company, regardless of their size, performs performance appraisals, or they should be, the importance, without a question, is to help illustrate why an employee was terminated, promoted, received promotions or pay raises, or to protect even against discrimination claims. So our performance appraisal system can be very, very robust and complex for those companies that have several different workflows based on the employee's position within the company, or if you just have a general performance appraisal tool that you use that's consistent across all of your employees. This system can handle it. There's templates, there's scoring, there's manager and peer reviews to give the full 360 review process, and then there's phenomenal reporting. So gone are the days where you would score one employee and work with that employee to change their behaviors. Now, what's important to a lot of companies is looking at the entire process from a company global standpoint, and you may find that 70 or 80% of your workforce scored poorly in one specific area. So now as a company you can make changes, not just to one individual, but changes in your training to your staff, or modifying behaviors of your workforce so that you can meet company initiatives, company goals. It's all tied in together. So it's having all this data at your fingertips, you can do phenomenal reporting after all the performance reviews are done. So coupled with this is the ability to prepare some really nice benefit statements for your employees that really show that hidden paycheck. So we thought it just made sense that every time our customers' employees log on to the self-service portal, they can see not only their take-home pay, but the hidden paycheck, all the taxes paid on the employer's behalf, the benefit contributions, the 401k contributions made by the employer. So the benefit statement helps during the review process also to remind employees how much the employer is truly paying for that employee. And every time they log on, we can have them see this benefit statement if you wish. Finally, I want to quickly touch upon the integration of our system. So as I mentioned, as you quickly saw, and we could dive deeper into this with questions, but it has a lot of tools. So, payroll, human resources, performance appraisals, applicant tracking, self-service. It truly has everything that workforce management needs today. And typically we find that outside of our system, we are usually integrating with one or two other platforms, and they're either a standalone accounting system or an ERP system, which is very common in our manufacturing customers. And then also, if you already have a time and attendance system that you're very happy with, we can integrate with that time and attendance solution. For the most part, we've not really found a system, as long as that external, accounting or ERP system can accept an import or push out data, we can integrate with it, giving you the full solution to run your business efficiently with all the correct reporting that you're going to need, and have the flows going in and out of your systems that you use daily to manage your company. With that, I'll open up for questions after Chris wraps things up. He's going to kind of do a little review here and then talk about some pricing. So, Chris, I'll hand it back to you.
I appreciate it, Don. Thanks. Just going to walk you through. Here's a nice recap. Again, this is one system, one login, one password. So all the stuff that Don was talking about is integrated within the one system for the payroll and the HR. So, and again, Don talked about it. There's a lot of functionality when we go out there that employers are currently using: a separate intranet, a separate performance appraisal system. They're still keying in time. They're still sending and uploading retirement files. So all of this can be now integrated to companies from 10 to all the way up in order to help improve your workflow and just keep things moving, get a few more things off your plate through technology. And just a reminder, we're just that all-in-one administrator. So if you ever have any of these questions arise or need costs, things like that, reach out to BizAssure. One of the things that BizAssure, basically the BizAssure motto is that through using BizAssure, you can save up to $800 per employee per year. And one of the things that we always preached with these new payroll systems, so you have payroll, you have HR platform integrated into it, organizational tracking, vacation time off requests. Then you have performance appraisals, benefit enrollment, recruitment, career development. Then you have FSAs, you have HRAs, HSAs, COBRA, FMLA. One of the things that we've always preached is by going, no matter what services you're going to use, but by bringing it all into one administrator, it could save you $400 per year per employee. The great thing is it's always hard to get this tested. We give our clients to our auditor with other payroll companies to try and prove this. But a few years ago, we really lucked out because PricewaterhouseCoopers did a study on this using ADP's data, ADP is the one who gives to the federal government the labor numbers, and they were able to prove this through their auditing. And what PricewaterhouseCoopers found out is generally at a mid-sized company, it costs $1,953 a year to manage an employee. And at a large company, it costs $1,403 per year. By moving to one administrator in both hard and soft cost studies, PricewaterhouseCoopers found you can save about 32% by bringing it all in. And so for the mid-sized companies, it saved on average to manage that same employee about $625 a year. And at a large company, it saved $449 a year. So again, we just want to bring this home at BizAssure that we have all these things available to our member clients. And there are ways to save upwards of $800 per year. And this is one of those ways. Just a recap sheet here, just showing you all the different things available. And to conclude again, before the next couple slides of talking about cost, is we just wanted to show you something that BizAssure is offering that used to only be available to the Fortune 1000 companies. And now through technology and through scale, it can be brought down all the way to the 10-person company. And we're going to bring up the cost sheet here to show you a special BizAssure promotion in bringing out this service to its member clients. For the first year sign up, if you sign up, you can get 25% off the services, and for a 2-year commitment, 50% off. On average, we always say with payroll, it's hard to justify the cost. With FSA, there's generally just a set cost, and again, all these costs are available on BizAssure.com. But the only thing we mention with payroll is that there's a lot of factors that come into it, unlike an FSA or COBRA system where the price is what you see. We're not saying that there's going to be a bait and switch on these prices either, but the price might come down just a bit or it might go up. So the prices you're seeing are the pricing with the discounts available to you, and they could scale down just a bit or scale up just a bit. And how would they do that? Well, these are type of questions that we ask. And so it really depends how many payrolls you're running. 52 payrolls, 26, 24, do you have multiple payrolls? So that's a high driver in cost. How many paper checks do you? A lot of the time, myself and Don, what payroll companies don't say is the one thing that we bring to scale down the cost for our clients is we give you our checks to cut at your locale. Again, that eliminates courier fees and it eliminates a check printing fee. Those are two high cost drivers, and we've been able to save clients plenty of money with literally just doing that. They still didn't even want employee self-service. They didn't want time and attendance, and we drastically reduced their price by eliminating that feature. Another big thing on payroll costs is garnishments. So any child support, tax levies, things like that. And then how many states are you in? Do you just have employees in California, in Utah, in Illinois, just one state? Or do you have employees in California, Utah, and Illinois? So those are the things that we have to bring up. But generally, again, the pricing is located on businesssure.com. And so those are the fees that you will get. But we always like to take a little more dive down analysis into it when we're doing our consulting. Finally, here's our information for you. We always like you to go through BusinessSure, staff@businesssure.com. Again, check out their website. A lot of member clients over the years forget how much BusinessSure offers in the forms of training. You know about their great consultation services with lawyers, accountants, things like that, but they have training on there. They got notifications, they got disaster recovery, they got doctor finders. So they got a wealth of information on there of different services that they offer at steep discounts. So again, with the payroll, the HR, the administration, you just remember, reach out to BusinessSure. We will consult, we'll help you out, we'll answer your questions, even if you're looking at another payroll administrator. Again, we're here to help you. So finally, we just always like to remind people, payroll can be fun. We hope Don and myself introduce some ways to make it a little more tolerable and fun by eliminating some of these tasks that you've been doing manually for years. So we can't bring up enough about the payroll debit cards, the check printing, how we, even if you still wanted to do it, we can lower it. And all these different things, a million things to do with paid time off or accruals, how again, to various payroll companies, they could just never fix that issue. So again, if you reach out to BusinessSure, staff@businesssure.com, staff@businesssure.com, you'll be able to find out a lot more about this. And at this time, Don and I will hang on to answer any questions you have. If you don't have time, feel free again, reach out to BusinessSure, and we'll get those questions answered for you. Thanks again for your time today and for joining this webinar.